This is overwhelming, a large group of all of you, and I won't repeat the comments of the previous speaker, but it is a pleasure to be here, and I wanted to thank you all. Productive and happy, and when Maya first contacted me about speaking, I was a bit startled because I hadn't actually thought about myself in those two words. We don't often put them together necessarily. And I thought, yeah, I am productive and I am happy, so why not? So, but it wasn't something that's top of mind for me. I guess we're just so busy engaged in doing what we're doing. And so hopefully there's, I think that it's less of me or us imparting wisdom so much as sharing stories so that you all know, oh yeah, I was there, or I've experienced that, or gee, she had that insecurity, so it's okay. And to have that confidence and belief in yourself, and that you have that right instinct about what's good for you, and whether it's in your career, your family, or your life, that's probably, hopefully, what the value of people like us, or me standing up in front of you. So for me, I've got a couple of fundamentals. I can't be happy and productive without being healthy, and so making time for exercise and eating well is absolute priority for me. And I forget too. I mean, it's like a lesson we learned about 10,000 times in my life. When I stop running for a few weeks, or I'm too busy to, I think I'm too busy to go to yoga, and then you realize, of course, 2 weeks later I have no energy and I'm not as productive as I was, and it's because I stopped doing those things that make me healthy. And so taking time for yourself. I have dates with my husband. Otherwise we don't talk. I mean, I'm so busy that I like to talk to him. It's just that we don't necessarily connect. So I'm very conscious about making time for things that are important to me. Keeping control over the things you can control over is something that I learned, because sometimes when you get, not all of us, I mean, I certainly can't control everything that happens to me. For those of you who are lawyers here know that, you have clients or accountants, anybody who has, many of you will have clients, client demands, customers, client service, that can wreak havoc on any type of plan you might have had for your day or your week or whatever. And it's very easy to abdicate then the things you can control because you think I can't control anything. And so the danger of that, of course, is that you truly do become unhappy because there doesn't seem to be anything that you're doing now that makes you happy or you find fulfilling. And so this is the advice I always give to the junior lawyers in our firm is that, if you can negotiate a deadline with the partner or your client, think about that. Ask rather than say, oh, just add it to the list. Sort of that capitulate. That whether it's the time for exercise or whatever, try to manage those things. Try to keep control of things that are still in your control, knowing that a whole bunch of your day isn't going to be in control. So it's just sort of a way that I managed to stay sane in an otherwise really hectic life, is where I've got this core of things that I always keep control over, and things you just recognize that you've never, I'm never going to get to that list. I get 2 checked off of my 10 per day, but that's, you recognize that that's the way that my life is. I would say that managing a career proactively, managing your life or career proactively is important, and that doesn't mean that there's a clear path. We heard about the reinvention, and I would say that I probably reinvented myself a few times, and never ever would have thought I would be at the stage I am in practice that I'm in 25 years ago when I started practicing. And I think that part of that is learning about what makes you happy professionally, understanding what makes you happy personally, and sort of focusing on at least that core, and then being receptive and being open to opportunities that come your way. May not be the line of sight that you thought you had, it may not be the path you thought you had, but examine opportunities that come your way for what you can learn, what you can contribute, and what it can do to enrich your life. So, I always laugh. We have this. If women didn't have enough things to feel guilty about, now we know that we have to have work-life balance. and I say there isn't any such thing as balance. One day or 1 week is going to be totally skewed to some particular aspect of your life, and the next week, it'd be something else, or it can be a year, like that. And so you have to don't put the pressure on yourself to say that there's some woman out there who's having the perfect family and the perfect career and the perfect, other things, and they're in shape and clothes fit them when they try them on at the restaurant. Just give it up. And because none of us are like that. And so I started off doing litigation and litigation boutique, and I loved it. I ended up in a small town in Trail, BC, because I lost the coin toss on who was going to move when I got married. And so I found myself in a small town that I didn't particularly want to be in. A small town practice was one option. An opening came up at Tech-Cominco, and I applied for the temporary job while they were looking nationally for the full-time position. So I was sort of the bridesmaid, so to speak, trying it out. When they got to see everything I did, but only the best of the other candidates, I ended up getting the position. And I had a terrific 14 years. And